Hi, I'm Noah Weinstein.
And I'm Armand Hartoonian.
And this is
WeinHart!
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to WeinHart. On today's episode of WeinHart, we are going to be talking about the nominees of the 2024 Oscars. Woo! And to kick off this wonderful occasion, we brought ourselves the good stuff.
Oh, heck yeah.
The good stuff, baby. Champagne!
Yeah.
Woo!
All right. Thank you, sir.
Let's see how good I am at this. Boom, 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 boom.
Oh, perfect. You did it. Nice.
We did it.
Cheers.
Cheers to the Oscars.
To the Oscars.
2024.
Let's go. Oh, that's nice. Good choice.
Very good.
Very nice. Very nice.
La Marca Prosecco, everybody. Now at your Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, and wherever else you can find this
There
thing.
you go. Plug
All
it.
right, everybody.
Plug it.
Without further ado, we are going to get to our nominees for every single category. So without further ado, here we go. Best Writing, Original Screenplay, Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Maestro, May December, Past Lives. Armand, what are you thinking for this? What do you think's going to win?
Well, Noah, that's funny you should ask, because if we're talking about writing, man, I mean, I'm going to have to say The Holdovers for writing. I really, really enjoy the writing in that. Very beautiful.
I agree. The Holdovers is my pick to win. I have seen 4 out of 5 of these nominations, and while I enjoyed all these quite a bit, in terms of the strongest script, The Holdovers for me, it just had the best punch out of everything. Just great characters, great dialogue, just really beautifully written film. All right, what's our next category, Armand?
All right. Up next, we have Writing Adapted Screenplay. What do we got? We got American Fiction. We got Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. No, what are you thinking, man?
While I love Poor Things, I loved Oppenheimer, I loved Barbie, I have not seen The Zone of Interest. There is one film on this list that really sticks out to me, and it's the one I didn't mention yet, American Fiction. It's such a well-written film. I love the dialogue between all the characters. There's a lot of wonderful dynamics that are written that it really takes a skilled writer to really do that kind of thing. Sure. The commentary, the social commentary they work into it is super fascinating. Really takes a skilled writer to pull that off. So I got to give it to American Fiction. Armand?
You know, it's between what I want versus what I think is going to win. I haven't seen Zone of Interest. I haven't seen Poor Things, and I haven't seen American Fiction. So that just leaves Barbie and Oppenheimer. And because Oppenheimer has been getting a ton of buzz this year, so I'm going to go with Oppenheimer writing an adapted screenplay.
Up next, we have...
Can I fill you up? You good?
I just filled myself.
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
All right, everybody. Now for our next category, Best Music Original Score. We have American Fiction, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. What do you think for this one, Armand?
Okay, so we have American Fiction, Dial of Destiny, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. So, again, have not seen Poor Things, have not seen American Fiction. As far as Dial of Destiny, I think it's just it would be a repetitive award for John Williams. So I was torn between this because I really love country, southern, I love that style of music. But I think, again, I was going to go with Killers of the Flower Moon, but because of Ludwig Göransson's score growing on me very well, I'm going to have to go with Oppenheimer on this one.
I have to go with Ludwig Göransson, Oppenheimer as well. That is one of my favorite scores of the year. There are so many tracks that I just listen to nonstop.
Ludwig.
Till Ludwig. Good luck, Ludwig. All right. What's our next category?
Our next category is none other than costume design. We have Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. What do you think, Noah?
The more I think about this one, I have seen 4 out of 5 of these films, and they all had very impressive costume designs. They all did. But there was one that really stuck out to me, and that was Poor Things. The designs of these costumes and the way everything looks in this specific world is, I've never seen anything like it before. It's kind of like this steampunk mixed with futuristic, mixed with Victorian era style costumes. This was just so interesting and so unique. All these costumes that all the characters wore, I had to give it to Poor Things.
I just gave it to Barbie, and I guess the reasoning behind that is just because, like, they took, a doll and they turned it into this whole kind of world. And I think because the environment and the setting kind of just pops out at you, I think that's who I think is going to win. So, yeah, that's just kind of what I went with.
All right, feeling that Kenergy.
Yeah.
All
You
right.
said it.
Best Cinematography. The nominees are El Conde, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. Armand, what do you think about this one?
This is a tough one, man. I mean, they're all tough, and I say that, because everyone's creative in their own way, but one has to take it home because, as we know, when you compete, one is better than the rest. So I wanted to say Oppenheimer, but I have to go with Killers of the Flower Moon because I love how beautifully Oklahoma was shot. Never been, but it makes me want to go. So there's something beautiful about seeing Oklahoma the way it was. And yeah, that's just Killers of the Flower Moon.
And it will not surprise anybody, but my pick is also Killers of the Flower Moon on that one.
Right.
Like I said in the top 5 review, this is one of the most gorgeously shot films I've seen this year. There are so many amazing compositions that they do and camera tricks that Scorsese does. And he doesn't employ it just in this movie, but he's done it in all of his other films. But he does it so well with this movie, especially with the landscape and the world that they were dealing with. So cinematography, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Moving on to makeup and hairstyling. Okay, so we got Golda, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and Society of the Snow. What are you thinking, Noah?
I'll tell you what I'm thinking. I am thinking Poor Things for this one. As much as I loved Oppenheimer and did not love Maestro, they both did have good makeup and hairstyles. But again, kind of like the costume design, Poor Things had some really spectacular makeup, some really spectacular hair designs. Again, they made it so interesting, and I've never seen anything quite like that before. So, because I had never seen anything quite like that before, I have to give it to Poor Things for makeup and hairstyling.
Awesome. Well, you'll be happy to know that I chose the same exact thing. I haven't seen Poor Things, but from, I've seen, of course, stills of Willem Dafoe and Emma Stone and Mark Ruffalo, and yeah, I mean, I've seen it, and especially Willem Dafoe, who looks like, like the Dr. Frankenstein type, I guess. I'm gonna have to go with Poor Things on that one. Yep. So I agree with you.
All right, visual effects. The nominees are The Creator, Godzilla -1, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, and Napoleon. Armand, what do you think about this category?
I skipped Napoleon automatically. I don't know. I went with Godzilla -1. It was between that and The Creator. Yeah, I just went with Godzilla -1 because visually, look, I'm a simple person. If you can, simplicity for me is the way to go. I'm a very, easy man to please. I don't need these huge fireworks as long as, you do the job and you do the job. So Godzilla -1. That's mine.
For me, it was between Godzilla -1 and The Creator also.
Okay.
Ultimately, I decided to go with The Creator. That slightly edged it for me because I was slightly more impressed with the effects in The Creator than I was in Godzilla. I like the movie Godzilla better overall, but if I'm just talking about visual effects standpoint, that movie was just a complete achievement in terms of the sci-fi world that they had to create, what the budget that they had. It looked better than most sci-fi films from the last few years, I would say. It was just such a well-shot movie. The way they mixed practical and CGI together. And if that doesn't win, Godzilla Minus One is my close number 2. So either one of these, it's fantastic if either one wins, but my preference is The Creator because that just blew me away a little more. All right, what's our next category?
Our next category is sound. Okay, so we have The Creator, we have Maestro, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, Oppenheimer, and The Zone of Interest. Noah, what are you thinking, bud?
I am going to say Oppenheimer for this one. The bomb scene was one of the best uses of sound I have ever seen in a movie. The way they used sound in that, and not just in this scene, but also in the scene where Oppenheimer is talking to the audience and the way they play with us, where they're with the people stomping their feet and they're like building up this tension. And he starts to have visions of all of them being dead and the guilt he's having. I mean, it was such a brilliant use of sound. So I have to go Oppenheimer.
I went with The Creator. And real quick, why I went with that was this is my most enjoyed work of his. I don't know what it was about. I just love the futuristic aspect. But no, I got to go with Creator because the sound mixing and just the sound overall in the battle scenes and, just overall, I think it was solid. So I'm going to have to go with The Creator for sound.
Woo! All right. Best animated feature film. The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Nimona, Robot Dreams, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Armand, you already know my answer. Take it away.
It's The Boy and the Heron. No, I'm kidding. It's Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, it is. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is my pick to win animated feature. I mean, what else needs to be said? It's an amazing animated movie, fantastic. The story was incredible, great animation, pushed the envelope for all animation, period. And it's just another mind-blowing achievement from Lord and Miller. Just so great job. That was my favorite animated movie of the year, and it was my favorite movie of the year. So yeah,
I went with Across the Spider-Verse. I just, I think, animation-wise, the first one was great. And I think this is probably the best animation I've seen this year. So I got to go with that. Oh, by the way, I think it's pronounced Heron.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, well. But I did see The Boy and the Heron, and that was absolutely fantastic. That was a close runner-up for me. So everybody go watch Boy and the Heron.
Is that Japanese?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hayao Miyazaki.
Interesting.
Hayao Miyazaki.
Moving on to actress. Actress in a supporting role. Okay, well, we got Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer. Well, she's blunt. She's not dull, folks. Okay, anyways. We got Danielle Brooks, The Color Purple. America Ferrera, Barbie. Gotta kick it up. Yes, sir. And then we got Jodie Foster, Naiad. And we got Divine Joy Randolph, The Holdovers. What are you thinking, Noah?
I went with Davine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. The way she portrayed just this grieving mother and just the complexity of that role. It was simple, but it was also complex at the same time. Yeah. And just her tagging along with Paul Giamatti and Dominic Sessa's characters the entire time. I really loved it. It was a really sweet, down-to-earth performance. And I like these other ones too, but Davine Joy Randolph really just stood out to me as like, wow, this is a really wholesome, heartwarming performance.
I also went with Divine Joy Randolph. I think, and I saw her at this Q&A the other day. It was funny. At one point, just a quick story for everyone out there. At one point, she felt the need to turn to Paul Giamatti and teach a 56-year-old man about a new acting technique she had learned. And I thought this was hilarious because it's like, you do realize that you're talking to a 56-year-old man who's been doing this for a very long time. I mean, it's good to give pointers every now and then, but, it's Paul fucking Giamatti, man. Come on. I don't know. And even hearing her talk at that Q&A, she's a very graceful woman. Like, I don't know, like she's very, I don't know how to explain it, but like the way she was talking about her acting techniques, and I was like, wow, like the way her verbiage was, I could understand what she was saying. It's very, and maybe, I don't know, like I was vibing on the same level. Anyways, but Divine Joy Randolph, folks.
Film editing. Anatomy of a Fall. The Holdovers. Killers of the Flower Moon. Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. All right. What do you think about this one, Armand?
You know what? I'm just going to skip through all the categories and just say Killers of the Flower Moon, because I'll tell you why. I think, was it Thelma Schoonmaker? Schoonmaker? Okay. Thelma Schoonmaker, I know, has been Scorsese's editor for a very long time. If it ain't, as they say in the South, folks, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, it's great. She's great. The veterans, I think veteran editors just get better and better. I think editors are like wine in a sense. Like they just get better and better the older they get, because they've been putting together clips for such a long time, and they go, you know what? This is coming kind of natural to me. So I got to give it to Thelma Schoonmaker for Killers of the Flower Moon. Let's go.
I have to give it to, and I liked all these movies, the ones I saw, which was 4 out of 5 of these, Poor Things, Oppenheimer, Killers, and The Holdovers. I have to go The Holdovers for this one, because I just love the pacing of this movie. There was just such a smooth, natural pacing of this film. I was never feeling like it was too long or it was too short. For some reason, everything in this just hit right for me of all these nominations. So I have to give it to The Holdovers. This was just really well done film. Next up is International Feature Film. We have a problem, Armand.
Damn it, Noah.
Damn it. What's the problem?
Noah and I are a bunch of ignorant fucks. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
We didn't see any of these.
Short film live action. Have you seen any of these?
Let's see. The After, Invincible, Night of Fortune. No, I have not seen.
Actually, I have seen one of these.
Oh, what did you see?
Red, White, and Blue. I saw it many times. It was just the flag. It was just sitting out there. I've seen it many times passing in freeways and just sitting there. Yeah.
Oh, I have seen that. That was a pretty good movie, actually.
Yeah.
Best animated short film. Pachydermy. Heck is pachydermy?
Sounds like an illness to me.
Oh, I have been cursed with pachydermy. Ow! Feature documentary. All right, everybody. Documentary. We saw nothing in that either.
Let's just fast forward.
Yeah, we gotta skip. We gotta cut this out, Ned.
Yeah,
let's give some more funny juice.
Let's go. Funny juice.
Funny juice time.
I'm not gonna lie, no, this is kind of helping my performance.
Yeah, same here. It's helping mine big time. Okay, finally, something we have seen things in. Isn't this amazing? Actress in a leading role. We have Annette Bening for Naiad, Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Holler for Anatomy of a Fall, Carey Mulligan for Maestro, and Emma Stone for Poor Things. Armand, what do you think?
It's no competition. Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon.
A few months ago, I would have said the exact same thing as you, Lily Gladstone. But then I saw Poor Things, and I saw Emma Stone's performance in Poor Things, and it was absolutely mind-blowing.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was absolutely devastating. No, I'm kidding.
Well, it was devastating too, but it was both mind-blowing and devastating, yeah. It was a fantastic performance. The range that she carries, without giving away too much, what she has to play at the very beginning of the film and what she evolves to by the end of the film is crazy what happens. And I have never seen a performance like that. It's my favorite Emma Stone performance, and it's just a very, very good performance all in all. So I have to give it to Emma Stone. My number 2, though, is Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon.
All right, moving on to actor in a supporting role. We have Sterling K. Brown in This Is Us. No, I'm kidding. It's American Fiction, folks. We have Robert De Niro in Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr., Oppenheimer, Ryan Gosling, Barbie, Mark Ruffalo, Poor Things, and Leonardo DiCaprio. Oh, that's right. He wasn't nominated. Okay. Anyways, and that's not even the right category. That's supporting. Anyways, okay, anyway, what do you think, Noah?
Oh my God. This is one of those categories where this is really one of the hardest categories of any year.
Yeah. They're all
all of these performances were phenomenal. I saw all of these. These are all terrific performances. But at the end of the day, I think my number 1 pick has to be Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer. What he pulled off in this role is just incredible. Just being this huge petty asshole. I have to say, every single one of these other performances that got nominated are all worthy. These are all worthy performances. If any of these win, I am fine with it because these are all worthy to be nominated and to win an award. It's just of my personal preference, RDJ as Strauss and Oppenheimer that just took the cake.
Yeah, man, I said the same thing. So I got to go with RDJ, and I think that they tend to go towards actors who have stepped out of their comfort zone, and I think that an actor who has stepped out of his comfort zone is indeed Robert Downey Jr., which is what I put, because he has shown us that he can play more than Iron Man. He even said during his speeches one time that his agent pushed him to do so, and he needed that extra push. And I'm glad. Thank you, Bob Downey Jr.'s agent, because I am actually happy to see him blossom into more roles. So yeah,
and I think Robert Downey Jr. even said this is the best film I've ever worked on. I think he actually said this is my favorite movie I've ever been in or ever worked on. So high praise. Even Downey Jr. liked Downey Jr. in this movie. So there you go. Next up, we have production design. So the nominees are Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. Armand, what do you think?
I mean, if this were 2019, I'd say Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but it's not. So I'm gonna have to give it to. Look, honestly, I think for me, it was between Napoleon and Barbie, because I'll be honest with you, the one positive thing about Napoleon was that it did feel, although it was a god-awful film, god-awful waste of my time, but one thing the pro of that was the scene, the settings, the environment was very accurate. I believed he was in Egypt. When he was in Egypt, I believed that he was, at the Battle of Bunker Hill. I don't know, man. I don't know how many things. Anyways, but the point is this. I think that Barbie's going to take it because, again, they went very wild with the production design. Again, I wanted to go, because Killers of the Flower Moon, it's just natural production. It's not really production design. It's just natural. That's like Planet Earth doing its thing, You're just showing up and filming. So, Oppenheimer, yeah, sure, but I just have to say Barbie because, look, it just pops, and, it's 2024, and people like things that pop. So, if we're talking about things that pop and lock and drop and whatever, we got to go with Barbie, man. So, Barbie it is.
All right. I have to go with production design. Whoa, funny juice. Production design, I have to go with Poor Things for production design. This is, again, kind of like some of these other categories like costumes where before this I would have said Barbie, absolutely. Yeah. But then I saw Poor Things and I, again, was taken aback by this world that they created. I mean, it was just so fascinating and so interesting. It was so uniquely its own thing. It was Victorian. It was futuristic. It was kind of a blend of all those things together. It was like Tim Burton on meth in a lot of ways. Wow. So it was a very interesting from the designs of like the cars to the boats to the means of transportation for the characters from places to get to. Yeah. It was just I just never seen anything like that. So I have to give it to Poor Things for this one. That was a really, really, really well made film and great production design.
Yeah, I got to go see that now. You're making it sound very nice and,
It was really good.
Enticing.
Highly interesting.
Ready?
Ready.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Music original song. Okay, you know what? I can just read all these, but, we all know what people want to hear.
We all know.
I'm Just Ken Barbie.
I'm Just Ken Barbie.
And look, The Fire Inside Flamin' Hot, I know that is an Eva Longoria directed film. I think that may be her directorial debut. Yeah, Eva Longoria from Desperate Housewives. I don't know what It Never Went Away was, American Symphony. Oh, a song from,
I think it's from Killers of the Flower Moon, that song.
Right. I think Wajaje means, I think that's their
song for my people. That's what it means.
Anyways, I think, look, with all the press and I'm Just Ken Barbie.
Yeah.
That's what I got to
And look, I I liked What Was I Made For, but it's just the sad, weepy song at the end of every, like, what was I made for? It's like, okay, who cares? I'm just Ken. It was the most entertaining, fun, funny thing. So, there we go.
Yeah.
Best Directing, Justine Triet's Anatomy of a Fall. Martin Scorsese, Killers of the Flower Moon. Christopher Nolan, Oppenheimer. Yorgos Lanthimos, Poor Things. And Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest. Armand, what do you think?
Okay, I'll tell you guys who I want to win, and I'll tell you guys who I know is going to win. So I will give you a subjective, and then I will give you an objective very quickly. My subjective is Killers of the Flower Moon. This is his passion project, Martin Scorsese's. He stated it himself. Objective is Christopher Nolan, Oppenheimer. Now, I think that Nolan also deserves it because I think Nolan deserves this Oscar objectively. I also have a subjective bias towards Nolan as well, but I also, again, I can't choose between Scorsese and Nolan, but again, I went with Oppenheimer because he deserves it. Great film, classy guy. Christopher Nolan, Oppenheimer. What do you think?
I have to agree with Armand on this one. Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer. I really, really loved what Christopher Nolan accomplished in this. In the hands of any other director, this could have been a very dry, very boring biopic. This guy who created the atomic bomb, and it's, that is an interesting topic on its own, but there are things about that any director could have done that could have been dull or long or dragged out. We've all seen those biopics where it just is draggy and it's not that interesting. But Nolan does something so interesting with this movie where he really not only shows you the life and the story of the character, but he also gets you inside the head of the character and what he is thinking about during all this. It's the best interpretation possible of what Oppenheimer was probably thinking during all this. And of course, it's subjective. I'm sure there's going to be people that refute it a little bit and say, whoa, Oppenheimer didn't think like this, or he didn't do this. But according to a lot of people that saw it, people really enjoyed this, and I enjoyed this a lot too. And it was a really admirable directing effort, and it's something that in the hands of any director, this could have fallen flat, but it worked because Nolan directed it so well.
Absolutely.
So,
and I think you'd agree with me real quick. If any other director had taken this project, it would not have packed as much of a punch.
absolutely.
So,
I can tell you this, it sure was the bomb.
thank
Okay,
you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Keep splashy over there.
It's okay, it happens.
Oh,
Cheers.
Cheers.
Love you, bud.
Well,
Actor in a leading role. So, Bradley Cooper, Maestro, Coleman Domingo, Rustin, Paul Giamatti, The Holdovers, Cillian Murphy, Oppenheimer, and Jeffrey Wright, American Fiction. So, before I throw this off to Noah, this is yet another, in my opinion, difficult category. I haven't seen all these. I'm aware of the existence of these fine, talented individuals. But I don't know, Noah. What do you think, man?
so, word on the street is Cillian Murphy is the guy to win this. I love Cillian Murphy. He's phenomenal. But I'm going to throw a big curveball here, and I'm going to predict Paul Giamatti takes this for The Holdovers. Because this performance was so sincere, so charming, so funny, so iconic. And what Paul Giamatti did with this was just heartwarming. It was just so many things, so many emotions you feel for the character, all wrapped into one. And I loved it for that. Cillian Murphy did a fantastic job in Oppenheimer, and he is my number 2 pick to win this. But if I were to pick a performance that really just stuck with me much more, I have to go Paul Giamatti, because Paul Giamatti just absolutely brought it.
I agree with you. I also said Paul Giamatti, funny enough.
Oh!
It was between Cillian and Paul. Looking back now, because there was a guy sitting next to me at this Q&A and goes, oh, is this your first time seeing The Holdovers? I said, yeah, it is. He goes, well, I hope you enjoy it. Thanks, man. Adam Sandler. And I'm sorry, but I have to go on a minor tangent because this is extremely important. I promise it is. So if you haven't seen Punch Drunk Love, which is an Adam Sandler collaboration with Paul Thomas Anderson, fantastic film. That was the first time I saw him playing a more dramatic / comedic. I'm like, wow. And Jim Carrey's done the same. Jim Carrey's done, like, the industry has boxed Adam Sandler into this comedic role or this comedic typecast. But what I love is when they disregard all that and they turn in a performance that is mind-blowing. Now, Paul Giamatti, sure, he's had comedic roles and different things in the past, and he really, really was able to tap into this dramatic role. I agree with you, and I have to appreciate the performance because genuinely, there were layers to this. Cillian Murphy was good, but Cillian Murphy was not layered. He was layered, and Paul Giamatti, I feel, was more layered because he just showed us what was inside and what he was feeling, and anyways. So Paul Giamatti, because he tapped into his vulnerability and was able to show us a new side of him that we haven't seen.
Now for the final award.
Final award, folks.
Best Picture. Want to list them
Picture.
off one by one?
You want to take turns?
Let's take turns.
You first, sir.
The nominees are Oppenheimer,
American Fiction,
Anatomy of a Fall,
Barbie,
The Holdovers,
Killers of the Flower Moon,
Maestro,
Past Lives,
Poor Things,
and Zone of Interest.
All right, Armand. What are you thinking for this one, for Best Picture?
I have an objective and a subjective. My subjective is going to be Killers of the Flower Moon. But Oppenheimer objectively is going to win this year. I guarantee it. You can come back to this video and watch it and go, oh, no way. He kind of had a few. But anyways, I think it's going to be Oppenheimer objectively. But subjectively, I want Killers of the Flower Moon. So I would go Oppenheimer first, then Killers of the Flower Moon, and then Holdovers. And unfortunately, I haven't seen the rest. But
Barbie.
Oh, I did see Barbie. That's right. I've seen more than here than I. Okay. And then Barbie, I would say. Okay. But you know what? Best Picture goes to Oppenheimer. That's what I think.
All right. Well, it should surprise absolutely no one that I 100% agree with Armand on this. I think it is Oppenheimer that is going to win Best Picture. What else needs to be said here other than what everybody else has already said about Oppenheimer? This is a movie for the ages. Christopher Nolan accomplished something so special with this movie. This film deserves to win Best Picture because I think this is going to be a film that not only is fantastic and entertaining, but it's also important. It stands the test of time. In 10 years from now, when we're going to be at nuclear war with somebody else, we're going to watch this movie and say, that motherfucker is responsible for all this shit. And, I have to give it to Oppenheimer. This is the achievement.
You know what? I think this has been a fantastic episode. These Oscars episodes are always great. I think we should leave all the footage in, and we should leave me saying we should leave all the footage in the footage.
Heyo.
Anyways, I want to sign off. I want to thank Aaron Blankenbaker, our director of photography. Woo! I want to thank Jeremy Frisch, our sound guy, our sound operator. Okay. And I want to thank our first segment, and musical segment, and my good buddy Brendan Ritter, who's here live in the studio audience with us tonight.
Woo!
Excuse me. Too much funny juice, but it's good funny juice. Anyways,
Funny juice.
you know what? This has been a great episode. We always, I gotta be honest, because I can't hold back. We always kill these Oscars episodes.
These Oscar episodes are fun.
We should always do these.
Woo! We should do Oscar episodes every single time. These are the absolute fun.
All right. Well, Noah, should we sign off?
We should sign off.
All right. I'm Armand Hartoonian.
And I am Noah Weinstein.
And this is
WeinHart. Hit that like and subscribe button and follow us on Letterboxd.
That's right. Hit it, like it, Letterboxd. Do all of it, man. Because if you're not, you're missing out.
You are missing out.
All right.
Have
Cheers.
a great time,
Take care.
everybody.
Have a good one.